and I said, how many of you are in the market right now within the next 2 weeks to buy a brand new vehicle? And only about 6 people out of a whole room of 400 raised their hand, which is normal, right? At any one time, only about 3% or less of any market is going to be ready to buy right now. So then I said, well, how many of you who didn't raise your hands will probably buy a vehicle sometime between now and the end of your life? And pretty much every hand went up. So the point was, if all you're doing in your marketing is trying to get people to buy right now, as opposed to building a list of potential people who would either now or eventually be interested in buying, you're really playing a short-term game and you're leaving so much money on the table.
Tyson Zahner, thanks so much for sitting down with us. It's been a little while.
It has.
So always a pleasure. And I think the members of the community would really appreciate, because you, of course, were our #1 affiliate for like ever.
Yeah.
And so, but you're doing some new stuff now, and that's really exciting. So I know folks would kind of like to be brought up to speed. What's Tyson up to these days?
Well, Tyson is on top of being a dad and raising kids, which keeps me busy enough. Focused really on building my own coaching and training company, and I have a lot of my own info products that we sell, and EMP was really the kind of the catalyst that not only launched my ability to do that, but the training that and kind of the breeding ground that gave me the skills to know how to promote really any business that I want to promote, in the future, whether it's my own info product company or if I wanted to start a string of gyms. Not that I would do that, but
right. No, that's awesome, man.
Yeah.
And of course, we take no credit because it's all you guys, right? It's the community. It's y'all's businesses, and but we are of course very happy to see your continued success. So.
Yeah, thanks.
Very cool, man. So, bots, messenger bots, they're hot.
They are very hot.
And you were telling folks about that. So.
Yeah, I was a little, but I wasn't talking as much about the tactical part of how to build the bot as opposed to the strategy of how to build a list of people, an audience of people who might be interested in what you have to offer. Bots just happen to be one of the really cool hot tactics right now to help you build a list, an audience of people, a highly engaged audience of people that that would be interested in what you have to offer. And one of the things that I shared with the audience, I asked them, I said, how many of you in this audience, there were, 400 people in the room, and I said, how many of you are in the market right now within the next 2 weeks to buy a brand new vehicle? And only about 6 people out of a whole room of 400 raised their hand, which is normal, right? At any one time, only about 3% or less of any market is going to be ready to buy right now. So then I said, well, how many of you who didn't raise your hands will probably buy a vehicle sometime between now and the end of your life? And pretty much every hand went up. So the point was, if all you're doing in your marketing is trying to get people to buy right now, as opposed to building a list of potential people who would either now or eventually be interested in buying, you're really playing a short-term game and you're leaving so much money on the table. And bots just happen to be one of the ways that we can start building a list of people and keep in communication through Facebook Messenger with people who are the perfect fit for whatever it is that we have to offer. Yeah.
Definitely. And what's really cool, you mentioned this as a tactic, and that's a really key word because, of course, go back 10 years, it was a capture page, an email list.
That's right.
Right? That's what it was. Now we have lots of more, toys to play with, and messenger bots just happen to be the thing that's like, newfangled and
Exactly.
working really well right now. And who knows what it'll be in the future. But
That's
right
right.
now, this is a perfect opportunity to capitalize on this tool that we have available.
I agree.
To go grow that audience. So.
Yeah, 100%.
Very cool. So what is your 2-step funnel? What does that look like?
So my 2 steps are lead with value in the advertisement itself, and then tease with more value to get them to take the next step. That's it. It's, because the biggest hurdle to selling anything online is trust. It's getting people to trust you, because so many people have been duped, or they feel like they've wasted their money, or does this thing really work? Is it junk? And the truth is, testimonials and reviews from third parties can really only go so far, and a lot of people realize those could be faked. But what can't be faked is if I'm right in front of you and I genuinely give you something that can help you, right? If your back is hurting and I say, hey, by the way, here's one thing you could do before you go to bed at night. Just try this, whatever, twist your hand this way. Or I give them one little tip and they go home and they just try that one little thing and it makes their back feel better. I don't need any third-party validation. I need nothing more than that. They go, holy crap, this guy helped me. And then all I have to do is tease with a little more value. Now, by the way, this may not be a permanent solution, if that was my thing, but if you want me to give you a regimen that you can really do simply over the next 3 weeks, just reach out to me in Messenger, and I'll show you exactly what that is. So I lead with a little value to get them to trust me, and then I tease with more value to get them to take the next step, to become a lead.
Yep. And one thing that's critical, we emphasize this, of course, a lot here in our community, but it's a really, if someone's new, it's a really key distinction, because there's obviously a lot of confusion about what value truly is.
Truth.
And a lot of there's it's a lot of something that really needs to be sort of defined and sort of fleshed out so that someone can, oh, okay, so that actually isn't valuable. I maybe thought it was at one point in time, but okay, this is what's actually valuable.
I see that as well. That's a very good distinction.
And actually, so if you'd like to talk a bit about, because that's something you did do from stage.
Yeah. So because a lot of people think that value, they think what's valuable to them is also what's valuable to others, right? And they think it's kind of like, my kids are young, and at Christmas time, they often give me gifts that they think are really cool because they don't yet have the capacity to think, what does dad really like, right? And that's okay, I just like the gesture. But when you're a marketer and you're in business, people ain't just gonna appreciate the gesture that you're talking to them all about what you're interested in. And that's what most people do. They talk about their product, their company, their service. Here's why I'm the best real estate agent in the area. Here's why my network marketing company is the best. Here's why my comp plan's amazing. Here's why my health and wellness product is the best. And really the big distinction that I try to get everybody to make or to understand is the difference between marketing and selling. And value in marketing, what most people think is I'm marketing, when what they're really doing is selling. And all you have to do to know whether you're selling or marketing is ask yourself, am I talking about me and my thing, because that's selling, or am I talking about my prospect and his pains, his goals, his desires, his frustrations? And one just tangible example I gave of that was, let's say that you were in a network marketing company who sold grass seed, and you were a distributor for grass seed. Most distributors think, I'm going to go online and put a picture of our grass seed, package and say, here's our amazing grass seed and here's how it was formulated and here's why it's better than our competitors and you should go buy it. That's selling and nobody likes that. Marketing, on the other hand, would be if you said, hey, would you like 3 simple tips to get the greenest lawn in your neighborhood to make your neighbors, pardon the pun, green with envy, right? If you led with that message, that would attract the kind of person who would probably want your grass seed, and that's valuable because your neighbor is not interested in your grass seed, but he is interested in having a great looking lawn or making his neighbors jealous or, trying to show up the Joneses. That's what he's interested in, and to me, that's value in marketing.
Now, does that apply even if I have a ground floor opportunity?
No, that's the only exception. If you have a ground floor opportunity, you can talk all about it.
All right, scratch all that, yeah. No, that's great, that's great. Now, another thing you mentioned is, because you did get very tactical when you talked about ads, and one of the things that I thought would be great for folks is, why ads fail.
Yeah. Well, there's really only 2 reasons. You can every problem I've ever heard somebody say they have with their ads, people aren't clicking, they aren't taking the next step, they aren't becoming leads, I got my Facebook account shut down. Every problem with a Facebook ad or any ad on any platform comes down to bad messaging or bad targeting. That's it, right? This is an old analogy, but if I have the greatest steak in the world and I'm putting it in front of vegans, it makes absolutely no difference. They're never going to buy. I could have the greatest steak, the greatest message. I could hire a $100,000 an hour copywriter, and it ain't going to matter, right? So it all starts first with finding the right people, targeting the right audience. And one of the things I taught was finding people who already have the desire. Because if you try to build desire where it does not exist, you're going to fight an uphill battle all day long. But if you're think of your message as the water on a seed in the ground of desire. If you can find a seed, even if it's small, that already exists, and you put a really good message on top of that, then you can get that desire to grow. So yeah, every problem, if your leads aren't converting, it's either because they don't give a crap, or because your message is bad, or because they just don't give a crap because they're the wrong people, right? Or if Facebook is shutting your account down, it's either, well, maybe you're not following the rules, which really comes down to the bad messaging. You didn't follow the rules with your message, or it comes down to Facebook says, look, this is not valuable to our platform, right? This is your message. People are not liking what you're putting in front of them, so we're going to shut this account down or this ad down. That's really, it all comes down to either you're targeting the wrong people or you have a bad message. That's it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Now, one thing you did from stage that was awesome. You did which of course you don't have to do now naturally, but you did a demo Facebook Live, which was really great. It actually showed people how you can deliver value in a really compressed time frame. You mentioned that you do that whenever you're sort of feeling inspiration and not necessarily when you're sort of forcing an artificial schedule onto yourself.
Yeah.
Or talk a little bit more about how you are creating content, how you're creating ads, and
Sure.
how that's working on your page.
Yeah. So, well, just as an example, the ad that the Facebook Live, the content that I recorded right from stage, it took me 3 to 4 minutes. I haven't checked the time, but it was probably about a 3-minute video. It did exactly my 2-step process. I led with a little value in the ad. I teased with more value to get them to take the next step to register for the webinar, right? And my content strategy, first of all, revolves around just get it done. I have been in situations where I've tried to be perfect and, oh God, I gotta go get a shower and I gotta make sure my hair looks good. I'm such a diva, right? And I gotta make sure that I gotta go change clothes and make sure the lighting is right. And all of those things were just hurdles that prevented the content from actually getting created. Now, in some markets, disclaimer, right? If you're a doctor who's maybe talking to other professionals, maybe it might matter more that they might judge you based on how you look. But I've started doing basically almost every one of my videos, I call them gyms from the gym. I literally, as I leave the gym, I'm hot, I'm sweaty, I'm in a t-shirt, sometimes a ball cap, sunglasses. I don't look professional. I just take my cell phone, I have a mount on my windshield, I hit live because it's easy. Because the inspiration usually strikes me while I'm working out at the gym, and if I don't, to me it's more important to get it done and get it out there than it is for me to make it perfect. And most of the time when I've tried to get it perfect, it just didn't happen at all because I would either get frustrated or time would get away from me or every piece didn't fall into place and I just wouldn't do it. And now that I just do them in my car, they get done. And so that was kind of a good example on stage of just going off the cuff. Sure, my hand was probably a little shaky. There were a few moments I lost my train of thought. I said and ah, but it doesn't matter. That's part of what makes you real. And one of our other speakers, Misha Wilson, talked about every hero has a weakness. Superman would not be nearly as interesting if he didn't have kryptonite. And if you're perfect and you never say you never say ah, sometimes that actually makes you more approachable. It makes you more real to your audience. And at least in my market, that's been true for me.
For the folks that don't know, what's actually great about that is, so again, for those at home that don't know you very well, you're a professional photographer.
Right.
You are more than capable of creating a very, very, very polished presentation, probably more so than even we do here at EMP. So the fact that that's what's working for you is that's really excellent. That's a little writer downer right there.
Yeah. And I'll because you said touch on my content strategy. I'll yes, part of, I know I got leads reaching out to me in Messenger live right while I was on stage from that, right? But that's only part one. If I have a piece of content that, I then run ads to it. So when I get home next week, I'm gonna run an ad and people in my market will see that in their news feed, right? As an advertisement where I direct my perfect target audience right to that message. And if the message was good, if it resonates, it'll work. And if it doesn't, we kill it and we run a different message to the audience that we know works. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Next year is the 10th
That's exciting.
Anniversary of No Excuses, which we're very excited about. We're very proud of. Any suggestions for folks who are perhaps watching and thinking like, oh yeah, I've been wondering if I should join them and come out to Vegas. Any thoughts?
Yeah, well, I'll try to keep it short, but I could go on forever because this community was, for me, the first place I really found people that cared. It was the first place I found people that were truly interested in my success. It was the first place where, and a really great example of this is the fact that today, I got, the past 3 years in a row, I've been the #1 income earner in this company. This year, I was, I got like the level 4 award instead of the level 6 or whatever it was. And, there are a lot of companies out there that would shun the people who had been their top earners, who put their focus elsewhere, right? Who started saying, well, I'm going to kind of go build my own thing over here. And the fact that this community actually not only is supportive, but encourages. It's like, I almost feel like this is a place where the leadership here are people who say, our job is like mama birds, so we want to teach you how to spread your wings so that you can fly out of the nest and do your own thing, whether it's build your network. It's not about make us money in EMP. It's how can we serve you and make you successful in your network marketing company, your affiliate business, or even build your own company like me. And think of, Kate McShay and me and Tanya and Ray Higdon and so many people who really got started in this here, So come. And the last thing I'll say is you're just not going to get you're never going to make the relationships and make the connections from home or from a recording that you will. Sometimes the biggest aha moments come in the bar late at night, just networking with people, and you can't get that anywhere than at an event. And the relationships you form and the people you meet, that's really invaluable, and you can only get that at an event. So you need to be here. Yeah.
Awesome, man. I appreciate it.
My pleasure. Thank you.